Hey there, YouTubers. I'm back for another episode or whatever series I'm trying to do here of van tips, tricks, hacks, and gadgets and stuff like that. And today I'm going to talk about something that is very important to most everybody, I think. First of all, what I'm going to show you is in my 1999 leisure travel, which again, I think is a fantastic van. But what we're going to talk about today is keeping your food cold, refrigeration, and tips and tricks on how that works. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I have in mind, and then we'll talk a little bit more after. Let's go see. All right, this is my Dometic three-way refrigerator. Many of you know, some of you might not. Three-way refrigerator means I can plug in and use electric to power it. I can turn it to DC. And I also have propane that runs to it. So 3 different ways of powering your refrigerator. You have to remember on these, a lot of new vans are just putting normal refrigerators in. But you have to remember on RV refrigerators, they kind of work backwards. They use a chemical inside there. I forget what the fancy name is. And maybe if I remember, I will insert that word here. Their absorption. So basically they heat ammonia and then it evaporates, condensates, and cools. Yeah, that's what it's called. But what they actually do is they take heat out of a refrigerator. They don't have the same kind of compressor that puts cold in. They use a different kind of refrigerant. So yeah, so it's a 3-way refrigerator, and most vans, they're very small. This one is quite old. And what you get here is a small freezer compartment and a couple shelves. And when I get this going, when I get it maxed out, I can get the top shelf to kind of keep stuff frozen in here. But I have changed to vegan, so my need for freezing stuff has gone down a little bit, but there's still fake meats and stuff like that that you have to keep frozen. So in many Class Bs that you're going to find, this is what you're going to basically see. You're going to see a small Dometic freezer. Now, the brand new ones usually are putting bigger fridge freezers in there, which is kind of cool. But again, some of them have gone to 2-way, to propane and electric only, and have dropped the DC. Because if you have one of these, what you know is when you're running it off a DC, off your alternator while you're driving, the best it's really doing is trying to keep things cool. It's very hard for it to do much when it's on DC, but when it's on electric or gas, it's fantastic. Oh, an important thing, if you're going to buy something like this that has one of these types of refrigerators in it, make sure when you're looking at it, say you're going to meet up with somebody that's selling one, have them start the refrigerator long before you get there, because these take a very long time to get cold. Normally, the day before a trip, I start this up so it's good and cold, and I put stuff in there then. They take a very long time to get cold, but they serve the purpose. Now I have a second option, and we'll show you what else I do. All right, this is a 12-volt cooler. It's a Coleman, blah, 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 whatever it is. I don't remember. But what I do with this, I use this a lot. I got it from the thrift store, I think under 20 bucks years ago. And I had to replace a part on it once, but it works fantastic. But it's basically a cooler that has a fan and another fancy word that I should have prepared myself before making the video, so I'll insert that word here. Peltier. That is behind this. Behind there, I think it's a French word or something. But this plate will get cold. You can also get these to warm as well. And that helps keep stuff cold. And then what I do, I'll take this out of there. What I do is I freeze up these freezer packs, and I layer, usually I put meat in this, so I'll put the freezer packs down, a layer of meat, freezer packs, stack it kind of like that. And I've had this keep stuff frozen for 3 weeks. I plug it in, it's 12 volt. I plug it in while I'm driving. And also up here, I have a converter thing that when I'm plugged to electricity, I'll plug it into that, and it'll keep this powered really well. I can get 3 weeks, and then I can another week, 10 days, where I can use it as a refrigerator. So this is a great option. Now I'm going to talk about some other options that you could do. So that's a representation of what a lot of people in older RVs and some newer ones are set up very similar. That's a pretty standard refrigerator system for most Class B vans. I will tell you one thing. I have the Dometic. There's Norcold. There's a few brands that you can buy. If this RV of mine is 23 years old now, that thing still works great. It's not beautiful. There's got some rust spots and, you know, it's showing its age a little bit, but it still works really well, thankfully. Because if you need to replace these, they are super, super expensive. So if anything ever happened to that, knock on wood that it doesn't, or if I was building out a van, if you're going to build a van, that is not the way I would go. Because you also, you know, you have to vent these out the back and all that good stuff. If that ever went, I would buy, Dometic makes them, there's hundreds of brands. You can go on Amazon or wherever you do your shopping from and find 12-volt refrigerator freezers that are basically big coolers. And then you just find a place that it would fit. You can get a decent one of those around $300. If you go to replace the built-ins like this, they're pretty expensive. So if I was, again, doing a van build, that is definitely the way I would go. The newer ones like that, the 12-volt ones, they do great on power. They do great on keeping things frozen and keeping things cold. So a van build, hands down, that's the best way to do it. I have 2 cats that I travel with. If you've watched, you've seen those idiots. But one of them is diabetic, so I have to travel with insulin. So a working refrigerator is very, very important to me. And, you know, even though I've gone vegan, I still need to keep stuff cold and refrigerated. So between the Dometic and having the 12-volt cooler, my situation works perfect. If you have an older one, I would think it would work well for you too. Or if you're doing a build, again, just put in a 12-volt freezer refrigerator and you'll be very happy. So that's a quick little thing about keeping your food cold when you're traveling on the road and seeing great and wonderful places where your refrigerator will help you have a good meal, see a beautiful place, and you'll have a great and wonderful day.